Oh, man. You hear that, guys? Everybody, it's time for Manser! Hey, everybody, it's Mansers. Get the whole gang together. We're listening to Mansers. Oh, yeah. Because everybody loves my poop-taking voice when I go Mansers. Oh, yeah. Another episode 28.
Wow, we're on 28?
28.
Look at us trying to do something.
That's fantastic.
We have started something, and we have a duty to these people to give them quality pod. Quality pod. In fact, I have something given our people. I have something for you a little bit later. First,
okay.
Let me rock this intro. Hello and hi to all you spooky and spirited spark plugs. Welcome to Mansers, the toxic podcast for a better tomorrow, brought to you by two toxic machismos and one person we promise who actually gives a shit. And who are we individually? Allow me to introduce you. Her name has been called from heathens to heavenlies. Her song is sang by goats of the unknown underworld, and they say on a dark, foggy night, you can hear her laughing at a gentleman's penis size. She is Miss CTG. Welcome.
Oh,
that's great for you today. Ooh, Oprah crowd up in here. Black Oprah. They say when it comes to quickies, there's no one quicker. It's said that his tears of sadness have been known to give life to women's laughter. His Spanish is only marginally better than his pullout game. He is welcome to the show. Generic applause.
I have to own who I am.
Yes, you do. And you're doing a great job. His face is redder than the Mississippi sunset. His body is pastier than raw chicken skin. But as all the ladies know, at least he's well seasoned. Shout out to Israel's aunt. His belly is full, and he's about all that bull. He is B Todd, for there can be no other. We are Mansers. You want them, we've got them. Mansers, because when it comes to your problems in love and life, there's a perfect mansplanation for that.
Cheers. Hold on one second, because we should clear up my aunt.
Amazing.
You don't like that I shouted her out?
No, you can absolutely shout her out, but I feel like people are going to think that you slept with my aunt.
No.
And that's not the case.
I don't
think so. Did you sleep with my aunt?
Well, I don't know. Well, we haven't. If I did, we never got to the conversation where you guys were related, so I never stayed around that long. Yeah.
Wow.
Just a random ricochet. Bone.
She does listen though. She's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you over there telling people my virtue and shit." I'm like, decide.
So what is the clearing up then? I feel like nothing got cleared up just now.
My aunt clearly listens to the podcast, and she was like, "Hey, she doesn't watch the video, but she listens, and I love it." And she was like, "Hey," and she whispered it because we were on FaceTime. She's like,
"Oh, that's weird.
Is B Todd? Is he white?"
I know that
it's
whisper.
Just two of y'all.
Whisper. It's like when you're trying to be real, street.
Like, yeah. And
did she look both ways first to check the room?
And I was like,
"Why?"
Yeah, he is, but like it's hard to tell because his voice, right, and just like how he speaks. And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "He's well seasoned." And she's like, "That's what I'm talking about. He's seasoned." I was like, "Yeah."
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
I like it.
Seasoned B Todd.
Which seasonings do you think you got hit with?
Oh, he's Lowry's.
Not
Lowry's.
Old Bay.
I love some Lowry's. I'm
You
not.
know what it is? Everyone loves Lowry's. Not everyone loves Old Bay. Because Old Bay would primarily be like
either.
Old Bay is like a fish one though, right? Fish and crab.
That's the
usually.
seafood. Yeah, you're not always in the mood for crab legs. You know what I mean?
You put Lowry's on anything. You put Lowry's in your eggs.
Say the same thing about adobo.
Yeah.
Adobo's up there for sure.
Adobo's really good.
All-purpose seasoning. That's what it is. Lowry's it's just seasoned salt. It's just It's got a little bit of
is
everything for what
seasoned
you need.
salt. It's not all purpose, but it is just a seasoned salt.
Yeah.
And adobo is all purpose seasoning.
When I first started cooking professionally at the concession stand at Murphy Candler Park,
Hey.
I used to put that Lowry's on everything. Fries, burgers, like it was your go-to. And there is a point where you can go too much, but when you hit it just right, it is perfection.
A light dusting of Lowry's on some fries, on some home fries. I mean, and if y'all don't know what home fries are, I'm talking about you cut your potatoes up, you peeling them in the kitchen, you slice them up a little thinly, turn that oil on, and just throw them in there for a little bit, let them get that nice ring around, soft
In the
still in the
South, I
middle.
think they call those hash browns.
Do they really?
Well, we do, but home fries are chunkier because it's like potato cubes, whereas like hash browns are like shredded. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like
I
grated potato.
agree. I agree. I just have heard what he's talking about referred to as a version of hash browns before.
The hash
for
brown
sure.
is gonna have like a larger surface area too of the little shredded potato chip. Because you get
Now
the
I want
cubes
some
from
hash
the
browns.
You know
home
what?
fries.
This brings me up to a quick question that was not scheduled for the show, but this is a quick question because I was thinking about this. All right. In the song, Biggie says cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. Yes or no? You're familiar.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
In your mind, Welch's grape refers to either Welch's grape juice or Welch's grape jelly. Which do you associate with?
Juice immediately.
When you first said it, I immediately thought about the juice because I didn't think about the jelly because I don't like grape jelly. But in the context of the line, disgustingly, I think he might be talking about the jelly.
I tend to
No,
think
I don't
from
think it's talking about
Biggie's
jelly.
perspective, it's probably grape juice. But in my mind, you can never have diner food without that toast, without that Welch's grape jelly. You know, they may put
That's
a
what I'm
strawberry on
saying.
there, but like
I
in my
don't think
mind, I
grape
always refer
juice.
to jelly.
I don't think grape juice goes with the meal of cheese and eggs. Now that you've mentioned the toast, I definitely am gonna stand with the jelly.
But how
Because you're
come he
right, it's
doesn't
probably the
mention the
jelly on the
toast?
toast.
He's just having cheese,
Because
eggs, and jelly.
it's assumed that if you order a side of eggs, you gonna get a piece of toast with it. Man, look at Waffle House. You can't, you know.
Facts. I went to Waffle House 2 weeks ago and I was like, yo, I just want cheese, eggs, and hash browns. And sure enough,
You got
they
some
put
toast,
toast.
didn't you? Exactly.
And if I knew they were going to put toast on it, I would have said raisin toast, please.
You know what?
Cinnamon raisin.
What I
That
like
part.
though.
Always got to get the cinnamon
Always
raisin
a
toast
cinnamon
with
raisin.
the apple butter.
Boop.
Both of you can attest to this, and I think like our listeners really need to know there is a big difference between cheese eggs and eggs and cheese.
Yeah.
I can't attest to any. I don't.
Can you not? There's such a huge difference. So
Israel,
like,
I'm starting to get really frustrated over here because you've hit on something very near and dear to me. Please continue.
Because there's a big difference. Like I think eggs and cheese is a northern thing. Like in New York City, everybody like you get eggs and cheese, and the difference is that you make the egg and put the cheese on top. It's eggs and cheese. Whereas
Versus
cheese eggs is usually broken up
scrambled eggs with cheese.
into it. You scramble it, and then for me, like at least my dad forced us to. And I shouldn't say forced us. But what he told us was that just like you make real actual scrambled eggs in real restaurants, they continuously move the egg on heat, moving it off. My father was like, "Yo, keep moving it, keep moving it, keep moving it," and so it looks liquefied. It still hasn't. It doesn't. It's not. It just looks like it has a gloss to it because it still has that nice little run to it. Whereas, like, it's not a hard fried egg, and then the cheese in there is already incorporated, and it's just like every bite is just like cheese throughout the whole fucking thing. I like cheese eggs better, especially with grits or pancakes. Anything cheese eggs are always better than eggs and cheese.
So I was in Long Island about a month ago at an IHOP. That's the part that fucking pisses me off. I was at an IHOP. I said, eggs scrambled with cheese, please. And
they
sure
just put
enough,
a slice on top.
She brings me out scrambled eggs with this lukewarm lullaby piece of cheese just drifting on top, not even matching the same temperature of the eggs below.
Ugh.
and I
Disappointing.
recorded that and my reaction to it, and that reel bust off to 12,000 views because people agree with me. That is
That
no
went
way for you
viral.
to be serving eggs to me with cheese. The
Yeah,
fuck
that's
is
no, definitely not. The only time
how
you
is it?
put a slice of cheese on an egg is if it's going on a sandwich.
Right.
Yes.
I-
So because
who
of that,
gave
I
people
don't.
permission to do this shit? It's not even tasteful. You know you wouldn't want to eat that shit.
In New York, I don't
Tastes
order cheese on my eggs in any restaurant
You can't
because of
anymore.
that.
You
So I
can't
go,
trust them.
oh, I'll just take scrambled eggs, salt and pepper. I do not ask for that cheese anymore in any New York restaurants.
I think
Yeah.
what pissed me off is just like because I was trying to see it from their perspective because in some boroughs they won't do a chopped cheese for you. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to get their grills fucked up with all the meat and
Yeah.
the cheese folded together. When the cheese hits the grill, it can kind of like crust up and stuff like that, which is what makes
That's
it
the
fucking
best.
good.
Hate
But I was
that.
like, maybe they don't do it for that. But I was like, no, they do chopped cheeses and cheeseburgers all the time. What's the difference? But like, when you serve a cheeseburger, that cheese is usually melted on top of that. You don't just serve a cold piece of cheese on top of a cheeseburger. Like,
Correct. Well, the thing is, it's not so much that it's melted on top. The cheese is placed on the burger when the burger is still at a temperature that the cheese will melt. That's when
yeah,
you know it's done correctly. So
yeah,
basically, they scrambled your eggs, let them sit, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, this is supposed to be with cheese," and so they just slapped the
plop.
cheese on top. That's how it went. Because even if they had done it right after the eggs came out the pot, you still
Still
would
a
have
little
gotten
bit of
enough
time.
melt that you could have, incorporated it. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks for letting us
Yeah, that was
all
a
share
fun
that.
little tangent.
Yeah,
We
So,
needed that. I
how was
feel like we
y'all's
needed
weekend?
that.
weekend was
Damn,
solid.
this weekend. I don't remember the weekend.
Israel's still recovering for everybody
Yeah, I'm still
listening.
recovering.
He is mass fatigue.
You know what though? I got to see my daughter in the first time in 3 weeks.
You're older.
Because
Oh yeah.
yeah, my daughter because uh, her mom has a her mom has other children obviously, and she I
Mhm.
think so. When I got COVID, I was like, I don't want to pick her up yet because I don't want her to get sick. I don't want her to miss school, but also
Right.
I don't want her to like infect the whole house because if you
Yeah.
live with somebody, it's impossible to not get the other person sick. Like I don't unless you're rich enough to have enough space to completely be separate. It's just impossible to not get everybody else sick. So I hadn't seen her for 3 weeks just to allow for the full recovery. And I saw my baby. And I was
That's
like, oh
great.
man. And
Mm.
so
That's great.
she turned 13 over the last couple of weeks.
While you
So
were sick, you missed her birthday?
I missed her birthday.
Oh man.
That's all
She
right.
You
turned
scarred her for
13.
life,
She's a
bro. She can be like,
I
"My
doubt
dad
it.
doesn't love me.
That's
Fuck
not how
my
that
dad.
works.
Let me tell
He's
you how
not even gonna
many
remember my birthday."
birthdays my dad missed, and I turned out just fine.
No, with her, I'm good.
I'm
Like,
totally kidding, by the way. I'm
yeah,
totally kidding.
she's good with me. She knows. She already knows. We've had you're my ace forever type conversation.
I love it so
Oh,
much. I love it.
oh.
What did you do this weekend, B Toddy?
Just rest and repair. I did a lot of home projects. Kind of repainted some of the trimming around the walls. Did some cooking. Definitely got some meal prep on. I've been starting to work out a lot more, and now the results are starting to kind of show up in pictures here and there. And I'm just like, you
Hey,
know
Oh,
what? This is going in the right direction. I'm trending positively.
what's the
So
first thing you've noticed?
I would say it's chest and arms. I still, I have by what I mean by the women's definition, where if your boobs stick out larger than your stomach, you're not technically fat. And that's where I am presently, where my pecs now sit out further than my belly does. And
mhm.
so, because of that ratio, I just look like a solid person. But
You're just a
definitely my
sexy
arms.
bitch.
Yeah, just a sexy bitch. Just a sexy bitch.
Mhm.
Nothing.
Understandably.
Okay.
What about you, Miss CTG? What'd you get into?
I worked.
Get
I
that money.
smoked a cigar. I went to there's this restaurant in Atlanta called Beer Garden that's like
I
German
have one in
vibes.
New York.
Yeah.
And that was my first time going, and I was so excited because it's October.
Yeah.
And so, Oktoberfest is it's the month for the Germans. And so
Yeah.
I had a nice, like,
Willkommen.
tall ass stein of beer. Amazing.
Beautiful.
Definitely want to go back there and really get the German energy up for Oktoberfest before the month is out. So let me know when you're ready, B Toddy. Um,
You think I
Sunday
drink these
night,
days?
I drank with young people.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
Of age.
20 somethings,
Whoa.
20 somethings.
Ugh.
And oh man, but it was
Picklebacks
fun.
and Long
Sometimes I feel
Islands.
like sometimes, oh my God, what is with people in these
Picklebacks
picklebacks? They
sounds
kept
fucking
up. I was like,
disgusting,
yo,
bro.
that
That
is
shit
like,
sounds
get
so
the fuck
gross.
out of here, bro.
We had
I
a
was like, I'm
bachelor
not,
party 2 weekends ago, and we were
Yikes.
all dead tired. And this guy, he knew what we needed to get the night set it off right.
Was a
Was
pickleback.
a round of picklebacks. And I was DD, thankfully, and just watched everybody cringe as they took these terrible fucking shots and chased it with pickle juice. It's disgusting.
They're like, oh, it kills the taste. I'm okay. Let me taste it. It's okay. So I know what the fuck I'm doing.
They said it kills the hangovers. No shit, because you're going to
No,
throw
they
up everything you drink right immediately
right
after.
immediately.
Yeah, it's a cure.
Yo, that shit sounds so gross. Like, there's not many things that I drink and be like, ugh. But
But
a
pickle
pickleback,
juice.
I've never tried it, and I swear to God, I will never try that. Jägermeister, I don't give a fuck what nobody says. That's not good, man.
Jaeger
I'll take some
grows
Jaeger.
on you after the second shot.
That's
Yeah.
because you're so drunk you don't know.
Damn, what was that drink? Jaeger and Red Bull? That used to be my
Jaeger
shit.
bombs. Oh
Licorice
man.
is
I remember
gross,
in
bro.
college there was that one bar you used to go and they put it on the chopsticks and you go do 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 do
Oh,
and
yeah.
the shot drops and
Sake
then you
bombs.
chug it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it was a Jaeger bomb. We
Oh,
used to do
Jaeger
it that
bomb,
way.
yeah, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, gross.
Buddha bar. Shout out
Jaeger
Buddha
and
bar.
But
gin.
it so was Buddha Bar that was on fucking what's that
Broad
street?
Street.
There it is. I went to
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
Don't worry
nasty.
about it.
Is you don't know, there is a land called Athens, Georgia, where the drinks are cheaper than you can imagine.
I don't want that.
They're vending machine prices for alcoholic beverages.
Remember
Well,
quarter
I
drink
do
night?
want that. That's how I was in Denver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get outside of New York, it's like the gravity chamber wears off, and all of a sudden your money goes way farther. You're like, my dollar is so powerful outside of New York City. Like one whole meal for $20 instead of
The
just the
exchange rate.
entree.
Our first night in Denver, we went to this like bar arcade place. It was fire because it was like, oh, who wouldn't want to drink and play video games?
Love bar.
We
But
have
they
one of
had-
those in Atlanta.
They had
Love
My
it.
parents'
$3.
basement.
They had
Amazing.
$3 shots, $4
Yes.
shots.
Ooh.
But they're pouring
Of
like
real
double.
liquor?
They're pouring of Jameson,
Oh shit.
but the
It's
shot
real.
sizes are like double. They're like double
Oh.
shots. And
Love
so,
that.
when I went over there at $20 and came back with 4 double shots and change, I was like, yo, the fuck is going on? And
Yeah.
then you're in Denver, it's higher elevation, so the oxygen is
So
different.
it's
Your
hitting.
blood is hitting. So I took 2 of those bitches and I was like, oh shit, I'm woozy.
Yep.
So I might not make it home for 2 shots.
Like got the
Woozy.
game fucked up.
I'm
It might be
woozy.
over for you. It might be over for you, boy.
But you know what I discovered while I was drunk? I can't whistle while I'm drunk. I'm
Wow.
a
Can you
great
whistle?
whistler.
Can you whistle while you twerk?
Whistle
Yeah,
while
I
you
mean I can't
twerk.
really twerk. I can't really twerk, so
Go
but
ahead and start and make the. I'm not gonna say
what? Go ahead, what?
Go ahead.
You see, I've been white for a very long time, and I know exactly when to cut off.
Whistle while you twerk.
See,
Oh, yeah,
I'm a good whistler. I couldn't even hit a note while I was. It was like
That's because when you get drunk, the fluid in your mouth just be ever flowing.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
All I know
It's
is
hard to
I was
catch that.
so embarrassed because I was ready to I was whistling this whole thing in my head, and it just came out like air, and they were like, "Oh."
He's like, yo, shut your dumb ass up.
You were just blowing a jet stream of funky ass air in their face.
Singing behind it.
Did you hear
instead
it?
of
Did you hear it? Sound like a jug handle. Somebody else has got the spoons going. Ja, das ist Oktoberfest, ja. Willkommen, Oktoberfest. Yep.
Fucking nuts.
I can get whiter. Hey, everybody, quick question. Quick
I just
question
realized
for
we
you,
still haven't
everybody.
done the question.
Get this show
Amazing.
kicked off now, 20 minutes into it. Quick question. Why is everybody getting divorced this week?
Yo,
Who
something
cares?
is in the air.
Here's the shit. Fuck them
Oh,
people.
come on. You gonna act like the Tia Mowry one
Just woke
wasn't
up,
didn't,
y'all.
didn't
The
hurt
tea
your
is
feelings a
in
little
'em.
bit?
Listen, I don't. Well, let me just be honest. If you're going for your own happiness, then by all means go. But I will never care about a celebrity's relationship status. I will never, unless that celebrity is gonna come to me. Why would I care?
It's going to
Well
come
said.
to me.
Yeah.
Well said.
All right. I'm
mean-
still waiting for Kate Beckinsale.
Oh,
That's my white woman crush.
yeah, that took me off for a second.
Mhm.
Let's run the gamut real quick of everybody who got
There's a
divorced.
lot.
Tia Mowry and
Mhm.
Corey Hardrick,
Mhm.
Giselle and Tom Brady,
Oof.
Miguel and Nazanin.
Oh my gosh.
There's more.
There's more. There's a whole bunch. It's like
Those are the only three that are top of mind for me.
now. Quick question to you, Miss CTG. Where was Mercury, and was it retrograding for them when the divorce papers were filed?
Well, the thing is, Mercury just got out of retrograde.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so this may be an end result of that because
Now it's empowering.
communication and all that. And we're still in the shadow phase for like another week.
What is
So
the
we're
shadow
seeing, like,
phase?
What the fuck is the
it's
shadow
like when
phase?
Mercury is like
It's not quite
something
done
like it's
retrograding.
returning through exactly.
We're
Basically.
in the
So, like,
remnants of retrograde.
yeah. So retrograde has
shadow.
its, like its actual period, then
The
it has its
dingleberry.
pre-shadow and its post-shadow. And so it's like everything is coming to a head. Like shit, even I had a tough convo last night. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. So
Oh,
it's
please
in
tell
the
us.
energy.
What
There's
was the
nothing to
conversation?
tell.
Were
I
they
feel like
asking
there
you
is.
if they should get divorced or not?
No.
Were they asking you if
Oh.
you would get with them after they get divorced?
Oh, tee up, Miss CTG. Once I fire this one off, you're next in line. Pew
Hey,
pew.
were they saying, "Hey,
No, it was
I'm finally gonna
me
let her go
having
so we can be
to.
together"?
It was it was me releasing, a friend.
Oh, that sounds painful.
So, it's something in the air, I'm telling you.
I
It's
feel like
like,
that would hurt me from you, and I don't get hurt at all. But I feel like you would do it
Israel,
in a way that would
you're
hurt me.
the most hurt person on this show.
what do you mean?
Possibly.
I'm very kind. I'm
Possibly.
uplifting.
Possibly.
My
Gaping
breakups are
wounds.
always,
No, I feel like you would hurt
unless
me.
you're an asshole.
No, I don't think you ever really be hearing yourself.
What you
I think
Crazy
you-
because we have a podcast for this very
yeah,
reason.
I feel like
Okay,
I
please
feel like
elaborate.
We are getting really honest with each other this week.
you're so honest and so well spoken in your feelings and your emotions
Ooh.
that I don't think most men would ever really be ready to hear it. But you also are not one, and I don't think you should be one for having a consideration of what you're ready to hear, because I'm not going to waste my time waiting until you're ready to understand how you're not doing well by me. But from an insecure standpoint, I think that you would. Yeah.
Wow.
I think from
Revelations.
any insecure man, any man that's not ready to hear about himself in a way that he may not like, it would damage them severely. But I also know that you really wouldn't care.
I care so much.
No,
I
you
think
care
Miss
about
CTG
people.
cares
You
a
care
lot.
about people. I didn't say you don't care about people. I said I don't think you're not. You will never, and I appreciate it, ever dim your light to make somebody else feel like they can shine brighter.
Ooh,
And so you're gonna say what you're gonna say.
Wow. It is loving you. Wow. Wow.
I received that energy. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
So
Well
for me,
received.
you back in Israel, your ass over here always fucking everything, and all you want to do is stick your dick and stuff. And I feel like you would do that to me.
You would know exactly
Yeah,
where she stands with you.
I might.
Oh, without a doubt.
My
But I
head
would
is-
never do
you would know.
do anything to bring on that wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't
What
care about
was-
divorced? Are we done with that?
Oh, I care. Oh, I care. Let me tell you, the one that makes me the saddest was Tia Mowry and
Why?
Corey.
Why does that make you
I
sad?
like Tia. Like, I'm a fan of her in a very light fan-like. Like, I don't think I'm like a fan in a
Is it
sense of
because
anybody that
her
I'm like, I'm gonna
husband's
study them.
black, unlike Tamara's, who's white? Whose
Um,
husband is white, rather?
no, it's I think
Oof.
Tia's funny. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like, she seems like a sweet girl. I liked it. Like, I've been a fan of them since Sister Sister. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like I also grew up sort of with them in that sense.
sure.
You know, watching them go from the teens to adults to moms to wives in whatever correct order, all of that. And obviously we don't know what's going on in real life on the inside. But from what was shown to us, it did look like they had a very healthy friendship and romantic relationship. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not gonna say couple goals, but it did. It's always nice to see black love. It's always nice to see healthy relationships. And so just to see one that you're like, oh dang, I thought it was healthy. I thought, they were happy, and whatever happened, they're ready to go their separate ways. Like, it's a little disappointing. The hopeless romantic in me is a little sad for
Well,
that.
Denzel and his wife are still together.
That's all that
Praise
matters.
God.
That's all that
Praise
matters.
I don't
God. If
think they're ever getting
Pauletta
rid of each
and
other. Yeah.
Denzel get
Yo,
divorced,
he
I'm
loves
just
his wife,
single
and I
for life.
love how much he loves his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
I'm
it.
sure she loves for him to get work because I can imagine Denzel's a pain in the ass to put up with. You know what I mean? And I can imagine she looks forward to him getting work so he can go channel that into something else.
Yeah.
Why
Like
do
when
you
he's
think
not
he's a
working,
pain in the ass?
I think he's probably a very intelligent man, and I think
Mhm.
he is always ready to share his opinion about everything. And when he is not
You
working
know,
on something, I feel like he channels all of that into the family, and he is just like, "You gonna
let's
wear
get
that sweater today?"
together. You know what?
I feel like I could see
That's
that being
really
the
a
case.
fair assessment because I
Yeah,
immediately started thinking about my own father, and I was like, yeah,
Really, we got a whole
yeah.
closet full of
he's
sweaters, and that's the one
he's
you're gonna wear with today?
he's the only person so far. He's the only person so far that I've heard like talk about God that hasn't made me roll my eyes.
Mm.
I look, for the record, I'm a major Denzel fan. Like,
Yeah,
respect his body of work to no other. Like, there, we did have a conversation at work. I remember one day in the break room about like, when it comes to actors, I kind of categorize actors into two people. There's actors who are really good at being themselves consistently, and there are actors who can transform into another role. I said Denzel is of the camp that he is himself in every movie. Because even when,
I was there for that conversation.
which one, what movie was it where it was like Flight, where he plays the drunk?
Yeah,
That guy's from
the
Atlanta,
pilot.
Georgia, right? Like this guy's deep South Georgia.
This nigga doesn't
Denzel
have
had
no
the most
accent.
New York damn accent I've ever heard in my life. You know what
He said,
I mean?
"I'm drunk right now
He's eating eggs with just a cold piece of cheese on top of him. You
with
know what I
no
mean? At the
problem."
Huddle House or something. But
He's big. He's big Bronx energy.
yeah, he is. But I think he is an incredible actor, and like I don't believe there's ever been anything he's been in that I have not just been wowed by. And he sets the bar. He sets the bar. His son, unfortunately, I don't think is good. I don't think I don't I don't. I
What?
don't. I think
You don't like
I think
David?
everybody likes him because John David Washington is Denzel's son, and he
That's not why I like
sounds
him.
like
Come
him,
on.
but
Did you
his
see him in
performance is
Ballers? Did you see him in Ballers?
Ballers was his zone. That was his
Tenet.
that was his great. Tenet was an overrated movie in of itself.
It might have.
That
I
was
love
a
that movie.
snore fest.
I love that
I
movie.
didn't see it, but
No,
It was
Christopher Nolan was just
fantastic.
trying to reinvent
No,
things,
that
and
was fantastic. That was a fantastic
what
movie.
else is he in? Now you about to make me IMDb this
That was
man.
a
I
I know
want
I
to go
just
fantastic
see
seen
movie.
him
him
in
in this new
Twitter
David O. Russell film that's got like
with
Christian
Margot
Bale and
Robbie, right?
yeah.
That one looks
I mean
funny.
that David O. Russell does great films and does great with his actors in them. But yeah, I just don't think John David Washington. Unfortunately, yeah, he is Denzel's son, so he does have to meet that bar. But I think he gets a lot more opportunities because of his name and not so much because of his talent. I do think he was great in Ballers. He was.
I feel like you low key hating, bro. I'm not even gonna
That's
hold you.
fine.
Black Klansman. Did you watch
Yeah,
that?
that was great. That was great.
Malcolm and Marie. Did you watch
Didn't see
that?
Nope. Nope.
See? Okay. So you need to go.
Yeah, but
Come on back.
it's
Go
like a
look
Jared
and
Leto
come
thing.
back.
If it takes that much convincing of just like, but did you see this scene from this? If it comes
I mean,
down
it
to
was.
that we have to start going for extra ammunition, I still just stick with my original opinion that like he's done fine work, but he's just not that great to me.
Huh.
That's it. That's just how I feel. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You're entitled to feel that way,
You're
Thank you.
1000%
as wrong
entitled
as
to
you are.
feel
Thank you for
correct.
accepting my stance.
Because what?
Listen,
Because
I'm
what?
glad he has a strong, faithful fan base that will.
Well, like I said, my fandom is like real surface level because they are
Okay,
still people. I just be appreciating people who I enjoy what they do. That's
all right,
the extent of it.
fair enough.
You know?
Snap that.
So I don't even know how the fuck we got here from the divorces, but
We're
here we
done with
are.
that. We're never talking about the divorces again. It's just
No,
it's
I mean, I think we can. Just, I might need to do a little more research.
well, everybody got divorced. You know who else got divorced? Michelle. She was Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Michelle something, but she got
Oh,
divorced
yeah,
again
yeah,
1 year
yeah.
later after she
Yeah.
divorced Jeff Bezos.
I hope she had a tight ass prenup.
Word up.
I mean, didn't she give all that money away after she got divorced anyway? I think she was one
I,
You
of the
know how
ones that
hard it
just like
is to give away billions of dollars? No, she isn't giving it all away. But I have heard she's given some of it away.
and if she did give any of it away, it was for tax reasons.
of course, I don't care what they give away their
I'm about to write her a
billions.
letter. Hey sis, if you really trying to get rid of some money, you trying to come up off something.
Bro,
I
all I
got some
need,
things you can invest
I
in.
just need a solid 20 mil and I'm good. I can make the rest
You
of it
could
up.
give me 2 mil. You can give me two.
OPM,
No, I
other
want
But
people's
I know
money.
20.
that's not gonna make a dent in your billion. So
Yeah,
if it helps, you can give me 100.
yeah, I'll take 20.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start it up.
Mm-hmm.
Who's up
All
first?
right. Who's on first? What's on second?
I'm always first. I'll go first again. I love it.
Go for it, buddy.
So my question is, or at least
Mm.
my topic of conversation is,
Mm.
can your ex become your next? Now, mind you, for people who are in relationships, we're not trying to mess nothing up. But in a
Mm.
world of out with the old, in with the new, is there space for an ex to grow and come back into your life and maybe become your next?
Miss
Go ahead,
CTG?
B Todd.
No, that's just my reflection noise. It's always.
Oh, okay. I
I
mean,
think I have an answer.
if okay, so if I'm just being honest, which is what we do on this pod,
Yeah,
um,
give it to him.
I think I've only maybe had like one or two exes who never became a next, if I'm just being honest.
You
There's
had one
something
or
about
two
the
exes who did not become it.
never. So yeah, what I'm saying is that I am
You're a
like the
double dipper.
queen of the second chance. Yeah, there we go. But see what it is, right? And so this is something that I learned about myself is that part of my um relation relational style or connection style, according to human design, which is something that I study, is the breakup to makeup. Like there is I have to try, see what doesn't work, and then try again and see if it works again. So like that's just the way that I relate to people, especially romantically. So like with friendships, it's not so much an ending of a friendship. It'll be like we have moments of closeness and then, I might go 2 months without talking to you and it's not personal, no beef, just busy or whatever, and then come back and be close again. And so romantically I found that there's, if you are not the worst person ever, um, and we find our way back to each other in some capacity, there's a possibility you could get a second chance.
Pretty
So,
strong possibility.
yeah.
Only two didn't
Yeah.
make it back.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I just got to be honest about it. But as I get older, I'm less interested in repeating, so I try not to even just like I try to work things out before I get to the complete break because I don't want like it's a lot of work to kind of restart something. So it's
For
like if
sure.
there's an issue, let's like talk about it as much as possible and try to figure it out before we have to come to a complete break, because I'm just less interested in doing all that extra. But
Yeah.
my track record is one in which my answer is probably like an 80% yes.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I gotta be honest.
They have to be. The pod wills it to be so. You must be honest.
I don't. I don't think I was ever. I don't think I've ever broken up with somebody and been so willing to even care about like it happening again. I don't think I've. I don't
There
think
was
I've ever.
nothing special about this. Goodbye.
No, I don't. I don't. I don't like.
You're basic.
Like breaking up with somebody. You know, there's moments where it's like, oh man, like we're really breaking up. But like after that, I'm just like, okay, all right, well, we go to the next one. Like I don't think I've ever, and no one has ever approached me on some like, let's cut. Yo, should we try again? Maybe that's it too. I've never been
You've
approached
never
about it
felt
try again
compelled to circle back?
once, but like, whatever.
I don't think I've ever had what is saying. I don't think I've ever had a former come back and be like, we should give this a go again.
Yeah,
That's always what happens for me. I don't go looking for it. I will
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
clearly, you and your magic
I
box
just
is just out here revolutionizing the world.
I just
Meanwhile,
have
my
nice
box.
energy. That's it. I just got nice energy.
That's what they
Mm.
calling it. You was hanging out with them 20-year-olds, and that's what they calling it.
Trash.
You couldn't wait. You literally couldn't wait.
I'm not even sure it tied in, but that's our new sound effect, people. Say trash.
Fucking amazing.
It's a no for me, dog. I've never gone back to see what's changed since the last time. Not that people aren't capable of change, but I'm just not interested to go back there again. Like I think once you really heal from a relationship, or maybe you just heal in general, I think you are eager to see what more can be offered, or like how much closer you can get to the bar. Like I don't think a lot of people necessarily ask themselves after a relationship, okay, what do I need to be satisfied in a relationship? And I'm not going to sit here and say I was doing that all through my 20s, but like I think I was really confident that once I was severed and done with that relationship, I had a really good chance of finding somebody else that would give me what I was looking for and maybe even more. You know what I mean? Or I could get closer to that. I, being super transparent as well, though, will tell you I held on to relationships for far too long and did not necessarily get out of them soon. Like there were exes who were kind of dangling me along for 6 months or so after the relationship ended, and I was still approaching it like they were my girlfriend, and they were approaching me like, the quick meal to be had in a pinch. And I had a hard time wrapping my head around that and how available I made myself to exes, especially immediately after a relationship.
That's a thing. That's a real big thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that feeling of allowing yourself to be available to exes is so. I don't know if it's just a male thing, and maybe I'm a CTG. Obviously, you can give us your perspective, but like the if they hit me up, even when they were wrong, like being available to like, yo, what's up? I need to hear you talk. Like, you need a shoulder to cry on type shit. Oh, something's, yeah, I got you. Any little things like that. Why do we allow that? Why do we allow ourselves to be available for shit like that?
Oh, I mean, from a male perspective, we definitely like our ego to be stroked in that regard. Like
to be needed?
oh my God, yes. I think men and women like to be needed, but when men are needed in a you're my only kind of capacity, or like you're my hero, our egos just fucking get rock hard off of that shit. You know what I mean? Like we love, that's a power dynamic that men just love to have. I'm like, yeah, you wanted to leave me, but look at you now, you're back asking me for my help. You couldn't do it without me, right? Like that's an emotional like
Oh,
charge.
I don't want to ever feel that way.
Wow.
Oh,
Yikes, B Toddy.
I'm speaking on a purely like
No, I respect it. I'm just like,
masculine
damn.
level. You know what I mean? But I think it's true. Like we get hard off that shit. Go ahead, Miss CTG.
I mean, for me, I like as a rule of thumb, when it's complete initially, like there is no access. Like you lose all access. It doesn't matter how amicable or non-amicable. Like you don't get access. Period. To me, it doesn't matter. Um, for a while. And then once I'm straight, then maybe we can be cordial, we can be friendly or whatever. Um, but initially, no. And ego aside or not, like the only thing my ego likes is a little begging, but it doesn't change the it doesn't change my stance though.
Question.
But I do like
If it
it.
is amicable, then why is there a recess period before they're allowed to come back in your life? If it was an amicable, like mutual, like, hey, I just don't think we're getting with each other. Maybe we're just not meant to. Like, we're good friends. We're not meant to be together, but we're good friends.
Well, it's never amicable might be too kind of a word.
Okay, all right.
Amicable in the sense where like it's
I
from
don't
a
quite hate you.
mature space. Like I just whatever is happening right now is not working for me. It's not serving me. So I'm not cursing you out and calling you a dog, but I
Right.
also I can't. This is not working. And so and I mean, because I have feelings also. Like if I can't be with you, but I still have feelings for you, I don't want to fucking talk to you. No. You have no
Really?
access to me. Hell no. For
Trying to
what?
hit. I'm trying to hit one more time.
Exactly. Which is what I know. Which
Just one more time. Let me
You know what's
smell it.
better than old pussy? New
No.
pussy.
Nah,
Yikes.
not always.
There's a
let me smell
world
it.
of it out there,
What you
especially in
doing
New
now?
York.
What you wearing tonight? Let me smell it.
Smell it.
It's a familiar smell of home. Oh,
Oh my god.
tastes like happiness.
Oh my.
And she's
Oh my. Tastes like
smelling the
happiness.
dude
I
that she
like
had
that. I
just
hate
before you
that.
came back over.
First of all,
Yikes.
I hope that never would be the case because I don't know that I can handle.
How do you know a girl wouldn't smash
Yo,
some other dude
first
and then tell you to come over
somebody,
right afterwards
this
just to
girl,
get back at you?
this girl got on a podcast and spoke to that. She said that she was with her man, and then her old thing hit her up, and she was like, "Yo, I gotta go see him." And then she went to go see him at the gas station. He beat it up in the car, skeeted in her. She went back home. Her man was still asleep. She got in the bed. Her man, like, I guess when she got back in the bed, he kind of woke up and like felt her moving. And was like, "I'm ready for some," and just started eating her box. And she was like, "Yo, this nigga just nutted in me before this."
She's shicey for that. The fact that she didn't even go bathe or nothing. Mm-mm.
Yeah, why would you not take a shower after that?
And let a man who is not your man. Damn, that's wild, yo.
We are really fucked up out here, guys. We are all just fucked up
For
individuals.
real.
If I don't know what I would do.
Like if you ever found out, you might kill her.
You like, damn girl, you're extra creamy today. And then you hear, let us free.
Carl Jr.
Oh my god. Oh my
Carl
god.
Jr.
Oh my god.
Oh, run
That's
away! Get
wild.
out of here, guys! Little Smurfs.
I thought it smelled like a locker room in here.
Oh God.
What is your answer? What was your answer? You said no, you're not circling back.
I've never been in a position where I've had the privilege of somebody wanting me back.
Oh.
Like I've been in relationships where I know like I wasn't the worst thing, and that somebody might still have feelings for me. But no one has ever reapproached me on that, and I'm okay with it because I've only once in my life really gone back to somebody like, yo, we should try again. I've never done it. I've done it once, so like, for each their own. But like, I don't think that we should be so quick to throw people out without the idea that they will never change.
Right.
Like, I used to introduce myself to people and or at least to women, and they'd be like, "So what happened with your last relationship?" And I would go, I cheated and all that shit. So she broke up with me, and it's like, "Oh my god, once a cheat, always a cheat." I was like, "That's not true. If that was the case, I wouldn't have told you that I cheated. I would have just lied to you and said it was something else, and then just be like, and then went about my business. But I do believe, at least in the opportunity, at least for relationships like that, to give somebody a chance. Because once you love somebody once, unless they've done something like unforgivable,
Mhm.
and to each his own, you balance out what unforgivable is to you. Um, this the feeling doesn't go all the way away.
Right.
You can't love somebody and then you can't. Well, again, it depends on what they've done. Love
Right.
somebody and then completely be like, "Yo, I have nothing for you,"
I mean,
unless
yeah.
unless they've done
It
something.
especially hurts after they did something that hurts you.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
there is no easy way to fall out of love. There's just
But
not.
even with that, even with that, the reason why it hurts so much is because you care so much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the reality is, it's still not immediately cut off, because even Miss CTG just said it, where she was like, "If I have feelings for you and I can't be with you, that's good." Like, it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I just don't think that. I think that we're so quick as a society, and mostly because we get our advice from Instagram and Facebook and fucking
Mansers Pod.
TMZ. But we're different. The reason why I love what we do is because we're not reaping a benefit of how you lived your life. Whereas a
Right.
lot of these other people, I feel like, manipulate what they really feel for the sake of making you think that you need them. I know you need us because of how it's just the truth of what we feel. We say what we say, not to go ahead and see who's gonna sit there and oh, they want to listen next. No, we feel how we really feel, and we're
Yeah.
honest about how we feel. We're honest about the learns that we have and the mistakes that we made and how we become better after every podcast. We're honest about that shit, and that's why people come to us. But getting all that relationship advice from Instagram is nuts to me.
Oh, for sure. For
I think
sure. For sure.
there was a TikTok commercial that was even give out the wrong advice and had me twisted. It was
Not
like
a
TikTok
TikTok
taught me,
commercial.
and they were like twisting their seasoners or something like that to get it out instead of shaking it. And I was like,
Hmm?
I can think of, I don't know. There was just a tick. I don't know. That's a stupid tangent. We don't have to go down there.
All right.
Yeah.
Ticker talker.
All
Uh,
right.
I will say, do you feel like you have amicably broken up with people in your past?
No.
Or has every breakup been because it just got to a point where I can't fucking take it anymore?
No, I have amicably. That long distance relationship that we talked about last
Oh,
week,
yeah.
that was amicable in the sense where it was just like, this is just not working. And I mean, he still lost access for a while, but um I don't hate him. He just had a baby earlier this year.
Oh,
Oof.
So adorable.
Jesus.
Love it.
Oof.
It's a beautiful boy. Wished him congratulations and all that jazz.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Oh, then he wrote back, "That box tasted of happiness." Oh, how I've missed thee, dear, dear, sweet Miss CTG.
Oh, my
The nights have
gosh.
gone colder
Yo, you're
since
so
you've left my side.
funny. Oh my
Nothing has been the
gosh.
same. The
I mean,
clouds
there
have
was a
left.
little, I feel like there was a slight flirtation attempt, and I was just like, hey,
Oh,
buddy, aren't you like almost married?
see what I mean? That's the type of shit that most people wouldn't say. You would say that, and I'd be like, ugh. Hey,
But
buddy,
it
aren't
made
you
it so
married?
awkward, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. What you're not about to do is get your little ego rocks off on me. Bye.
Mm,
Mm. The
well
clouds
said.
have not parted since you've left, and now I sit waiting for the day you'd return.
I would like to go
It's the
next
Shakespeare for
if
me.
we are complete on
Yeah, is this
this.
1000% complete? He's still
Yeah,
quoting
we
Shakespeare.
both feel like
I was
the
writing that in my
COVID's
head.
creeping in and he's just kind of floating off. Uh,
Is that T got a little
ladies
head
and
in it?
gentlemen, if I may have your attention, we have our first question from a fan. That's right. We asked for it. You delivered. We have our first question from a fan. This one through our Instagram is from David. David writes,
David.
I'm going to paraphrase this question. It's a little lengthy, but David wants to know, how do you manage a relationship when it comes to serious mental health? is this a deal breaker for you if you have it yourself? But let's talk about relationships in the mental health spectrum. If your partner, is it a deal breaker? How do you deal with it? Let's go there.
Bro. First of all, David, thank you for sending in a question. Let's
Thank
start
you, David.
there.
Mhm.
Thank you, David.
Amazing.
One more applause for David.
Yeah, one more clap for David. You know what? I don't think that obviously you draw a line at what you feel like you can handle, and you are more than entitled to do so. But if we're being absolutely honest, who in this world does not have some type of mental issue?
Agreed.
Just
Miss
kidding.
CTG is perfect. I forgot.
I'm just
No.
kidding.
It dropped out of her
Just
hand when she
kidding.
raised it. This fell right into her lap. No, but for real, there's so much in terms of just trauma. We don't always acknowledge it. 90% of the time, we don't do anything to try to figure out what it is. We just think that we're living life the best that we can, not knowing that there's something behind it. We may not always have been diagnosed, but there's so many different versions of mental illness.
There's 3 that David mentions here that I think are important for us to say it here. So adult ADHD, very
Mhm.
common. Depression,
Mm-hmm.
bipolar disorder.
Well,
So those are 3 that are fairly common, and it's like he says, it's not hard things like full-blown schizophrenia, which is its own set of issues, but like on the more pedestrian scale of
yeah.
mental health issues, like how do you navigate a relationship when someone is greatly afflicted by one of these?
I suffer from depression, and if I've never talked about it on the pod, my bad. But I suffer from depression. I'm thinking since I was a teenager, but like I actually really got like going to therapy since I got diagnosed as an adult. My mother did too. Some of my brothers, and I would say this: the person has to be willing to put in effort for themselves, and you had to be willing to put in a little bit of effort and you put in the effort for the relationship. If you're willing to do that, and even with a healthy-minded, 2 healthy-minded individuals, the effort still has to be put in order for it to work. So regardless of whether they have any type of mental health issue, if you're not willing to put in the work, it's never going to work. But in terms of things like that, especially for depression for me, I had to be willing to learn how to take care of myself before I can try to ask for somebody to help take care of me. And I have to know what my tics are, what like gets to me. Now the hardest part that I've recognized is learning how to talk through how I'm feeling without feeling like I'm a burden emotionally. Because there are moments where I'm fine most of the time, and I know I am. But there are moments that are so dark and heavy for me, and I still feel so weak behind feeling that way that I don't know how to communicate that.
Sure.
And so we go, at least in my thought process, I go through it a lot by myself. And then I try to find a way to say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. And I try my best to just do it in a way that you can understand. But at the same time, I go, you may never be able to understand because you're not affected by this. And I don't get angry at you for not being able to understand why I feel the way I feel. Because 9 times out of 10, I don't fucking understand why I feel the way I feel. So for me, as long as you're willing to listen and everyone's willing to put in effort to make it work, you can make it work with any of these things. My sister's schizophrenic, and I've never seen her in a relationship in my life. She has been in a relationship for the last 3 years with this man. This dude looks like he's like 50. That's weird to me. But she's happy.
That's good.
At least what she posts online, she's incredibly happy. And in that instance, like, you know what? Hey, do your thing, girl.
Let me ask you a question. Have you dated someone who was also afflicted with depression?
Probably.
It was just never something that was on the table for either one of you?
I mean, no one's ever, I don't think that the Western world has ever talked about depression as much as it talks about it now.
Mhm.
in light of being free and open with how we feel emotionally, in the light of seeking help to get through some of these things. We don't. It's just now become. It's not as taboo to talk about it now. So
Right.
I've never been in a relationship where anyone's ever even talked about it. I've never talked about my depression with anybody really
Mm.
until one day I got mine. I started really talking about mine publicly with the idea that if I say it, maybe somebody else is feeling the same way, can feel a little bit braver about how they feel, and that'll help. That's how I started talking about the fact that I suffer from depression.
That's great.
Hmm. Easy
That's great.
is.
We're gonna give a little one of those for that. That's great. Yeah.
Love it.
Miss CTG.
Yeah, this is a great question. Thank you, David. David.
Thank you, David.
Um, I agree with is from the perspective of I think it depends on how whomever has the diagnosis or the imbalance is dealing with it. Like, one, are they acknowledging it? Are they taking ownership of their health and their well-being? Because is it something that they need to get medication for? Or is it more of a talk therapy sort of situation? Or is it a combination of the both? Like, what ownership are they taking in that space? And then also, how is their mental health challenge impacting our relationship
Mm.
slash my life, right? Because if somebody, it's like, take bipolar disorder for an example, right? Like, that one, to me, I feel like personally I may struggle a little bit with more, because what if on their manic episodes they do things like clean out the bank account or
Right.
spend a lot of money, you know what I'm saying, like do stuff like that. It's like, yes, I love you and I understand that this is, something that you are dealing with as a challenge, but if it gets to the point that it is so negatively impacting our lives or my well-being, that's a conversation. That's something bigger. There has to become there gets a point where you're like, okay, so who is my priority in this situation? And it always has to be me first. And so it's like, I can love you to the end of the earth and back, but if you are being more of a detriment to my life than you are being an asset, I have to release that, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so
Right.
it's things like that. And then if it's somebody like, I've dated somebody who has depression, and one of the things for me is like, when they had their depressive episodes, it's like, how can I support you? And that was the conversation that was always a little bit unclear. Like, it's like, "Oh, I don't really want to talk about it." You don't want to talk about it when you're in it, and I understand
For
that.
sure.
But when you're out of it, we also can't talk about it to figure out, like,
How to
how
deal with
can
it the next time it
right,
comes around, like while we're above
exactly.
water. Yeah.
Exactly, and so for me, that was also a challenge, because it's like, so either way, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't, that sort of thing, and so it kind of becomes a challenge as well. And so I think that if you, especially if you can call it out already as the person who's having the challenge, then you have to be willing to allow yourself to be supported by your partner if you're choosing to be in a
For sure.
partnership with
Yeah.
somebody. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna pause there. Like I said,
Okay. I so I have an interesting perspective on both sides of this. Or
mhm.
I guess multiple angles really. So one of my stepmothers was bipolar growing up, and I did not know that at the time growing up with her, and that was extreme to deal with, because typically the manic was always brought about by my presence, and I was like the only, because I was my dad's son, and with four sisters, one being my full blood, the other three my half. I was outnumbered already, and I've talked publicly about how I felt like my own like gender and size was kind of used against me in my own family. Where it's just like I was like a freak, I guess, to my family, and didn't know my own strength, and people were afraid I was going to break their child or something like that. So I was always like overly parented and kept away from people because I don't know, never hurt anybody, never did anything like that. But that was always my experience growing up. But her bipolar disorders were particularly harmful to me, but I did not know that she was bipolar until I was in my 20s actually, and they had already divorced. But I'd seen, at least my dad navigated a relationship with someone who was bipolar. I myself have ADHD. It runs in my family. It runs rampantly in my family. So I know I have been a bit much to deal with when my ADHD kicks in, and I'm leaving cabinets open in the kitchen, and I've started half projects and haven't really finished any of them, and that are just indecisive sometimes because I'm so stimulated by all choices that they're all great ideas and I can't land on one. So that can be exhausting. And then I've dated people who have suffered from depression, and I've also dated people who have, on a much deeper, wouldn't say it's a mental health, but definitely a trauma scale of just sexual trauma and sexual abuse, which is a mental health thing that triggers depression, and I feel like it's worth noting. And so it's not a deal breaker for me, first of all. I think, absolutely what Miss CTG says is correct. Like, if you yourself are the one identifying it up front before we get into the relationship, it's not enough just for you to be able to identify it. I also need you to be, I don't want to say in control of it, but I need you to be cognizant of it and to be doing your part to make sure that we can both be in a safe space in this relationship. And and like that's an unfair demand, I feel like, to put on someone who suffers from depression. The last thing someone going through depression needs is like a responsibility or like an ultimatum of like, if you get depressed, I don't want to hear about it and I don't want to be around. I would never be like that, you know what I mean? And I, especially in my 30s, have started approaching relationships with what I consider radical love, and that I try and treat friendships like family in the same regard as that I don't have to like you in order to love you. And so I cannot like how you're being right now and still love you. I give that
Mhm.
same love to my fraternity brothers. Like, I love all my fraternity brothers, and I would take a bullet for just about any one of them. And I'm dead serious. I would take a bullet for just about any one of them. Are there fraternity brothers that I don't get along with or see eye to eye? Absolutely. Would I still take that bullet for them? Sure, because that's radical love to me. Like, people in my family piss me off all the time, but we always give an extension when it comes to like family of just like, well, that's just who they are, and I'm going to love them. The thing is, and I have probably, I mean, I don't know if I'm an actor because of this or vice versa, but like I used to have, and maybe still do have, if I'm being honest, like a bit of like a savior complex, probably from just my own disappointments through childhood, that I feel like I have to rectify that going forward for the rest of my life. So I can say I have not been turned away from going towards relationships when it comes to mental health issues, because it was my opportunity to be like, hey, not everyone has to be a dick and not everyone has to be a shy away from this. And um, it's it's hard, but I think one of my friends who suffered from depression gave me the best advice when I was in this relationship with someone who was particularly depressed, and just learned sometimes the best thing that you can do for someone that you love is just give them space. You know what I mean? And me being such a compassionate lover, an empathizer, someone who wants to console you, it is my immediate reaction to swoop in, try and make you feel better, and talk about it or whatever. And sometimes, in a depressive episode, sometimes what you just need is just space and to be away from people and the lights out. And that's really hard for me to just let somebody go through it, because if they're going through it, to me, that means they're not getting better, even though sometimes that's just what they need for it to start getting better. So I think you have to have a lot of patience when it comes to relationships like these. I think you do need to talk about them, and that both parties need to be open to talking about them. And I think, like Iz said, yeah, they're very common these days, and more so than people are willing to talk about. And I think everybody deserves love, so we should all try and be patient when it comes to those circumstances. My opinion.
Yeah. One other thing is remembering that, again, not everybody has been diagnosed or knows
Right.
that they're going through something, or that they have it. Especially, I don't know everything about like bipolar as a whole, but just understanding the ebbs and flows of emotions, and we'll, I think a lot for men too, or no, anybody be so quick to be like, yo, you just be all over the place, I can't deal with you,
Mm-hmm.
without, we don't even know where we are
Right.
or
Mm-hmm.
why we feel this way.
Right.
So I think most of us has probably been in a relationship with somebody that has a little bit of something.
It's
Just
safe to
Yeah.
assume.
yeah, it's just that no, it's so difficult now that no one knows, and we're not always in the space where we can easily find out, or that we're even ready to know that something's wrong. Because you have to even be ready to know that, you know, your brain may not work in the way that it's supposed to, that the norm, quote unquote, is written for it to work.
Right.
And then you have
Mm-hmm.
to be okay with accepting that for yourself, but let alone having someone accept it with you. That's just,
Mm.
that's heavy.
It is a lot. You're right. That is a lot.
Damn, David, you got us all over it.
I know. I'm like, that got
It's a
deep.
great question. Yeah.
All right,
The hell are you
Dave.
doing to us?
That's great.
He said he's making
That
the
was a
show
great
better.
question.
One more applause for David and that great question.
Oh,
Matter of
Thank you.
fact,
Thank
when
you.
we post this episode, if y'all, I want to know what our listeners think about it, and what their thoughts are. And are you somebody
oh
who
yeah, we need to know.
has been diagnosed with a mental illness
Yes.
and are in a relationship, or vice versa? You're in a relationship with somebody who was diagnosed. What has your experience been? Slide
Mhm.
in the DMs, baby.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a part 2. I think we're definitely going to come back and visit this one.
Yeah.
What did
Because
you say our email address is, B Todd?
themanserspod@gmail.com. THE manserspod @gmail.com.
DM us or email us. If
Yeah.
you got a lot to say, email might be better.
Yeah. You can send attachments.
Hmm. I don't
No
know
dick
why my
pics,
mind
please.
just went to the gutter immediately when you said
See,
that.
I knew it. No dick pics.
Immediately.
Don't send us any dick
Please
pics.
don't send tick pics. Yeah.
All right. You
You-
send those pussy
the
pics.
gate's
Just put
wide
those put
open.
those attention Miss CTG. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
no,
just
no,
attention Miss CTG,
you send
so
those
the
pussy
fellas won't
pictures
answer that.
right down there.
Yeah,
Don't do
just
that.
All right.
put an
Labias.
eggplant in the
Like,
subject line if it's for Miss CTG. Put a beefsteak if it's for Iz.
fucking beefsteak.
With Lowry season.
With
Oh my
Lowry's all over
god.
it.
I thought you were gonna say like a peach. He says a fucking beefsteak. Yeah, Lee. Oh my gosh. All right. So speaking of listener submissions, one of our other listeners sent us, actually tagged us in a post.
Oh,
And
yeah.
let me pull this up because I want to get it right. But tagged us in a post because they wanted to know what our thoughts were on it. Georgia Peach Brie said, "Y'all gonna get him?" That was the comment, but I guess I need to give the context now. So I just
There's an order to these things.
it was just like a real time,
This
just like
doesn't work for
reading
Miss
it.
CTG.
Just
Order
Y'all
does
gonna get
not
them?
work for her.
facts don't matter. Okay, so apparently Joe Budden was on his podcast and was having a little chitty chat with his little friends about pretending to put a condom on during sex with a person. During sex with a person, okay? Um he basically alluded, maybe let me see. Is the clip up? Let me see. And okay, no, it's not queued up. Sorry about that, y'all. I can't cue it. But anyways, essentially he's like, "Yeah, I remember times I would go stand in the corner and act like I was putting the condom on, knowing, like she's not gonna know the difference. We're gonna pretend it's like ultra thin, so da 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 da." And it was like jokey joking about
Yeah,
it.
babe, it's ultra
He
thin.
said it was a past behavior. He's not doing it now, but he didn't really seem to see anything wrong with it all the same in the larger scheme. It mostly just seemed like it was funny. And so Um, I would love to hear from the fellas first, if y'all are ready,
Ah, who?
because go ahead. Go ahead. Who wants to take it first? Go
Who's
ahead.
Joe Bud? I'm not familiar.
Damn.
Well,
Damn.
listen. First of all,
hmm
first of all, he's wrong for doing it. I have two issues. I have an issue with the fact that he's wrong for doing that. I mean, just in a matter of just getting consent and permission. That's a part of it. You may have got
hmm
the permission to have sex, but if a condom is required or asked for it, then that's part of it. That goes hand in
hmm
hand with the permission to do it. So
hmm
if you take away the part that they're asking for, then I think that consent goes with that. It goes right out the window. Once you start doing it the other way, they're saying have sex with me with a condom. You say I don't want a condom, then it's no. So you're wrong. Um, I'm a little confused because I don't know that it's. I don't know. Maybe Miss CTG can shed some light on this. And I don't want you to, but like, because I know people listen. But for men, for Israel, sex with a condom and without a condom feels absolutely different. Like on entrance that it is very different.
Of
hmm
course.
So like, I feel like do these women not know that he doesn't have a condom on? And like continue to go with it because just the entrance it's very different.
We can tell you how it feels to us,
Yeah.
but
Is it
women
different?
can tell. Women can tell.
Can they well,
Yeah.
okay.
If you are in tune with your vagina, yes.
Okay.
Because
So
now,
there's
what I
maybe
will
that.
say is like
There's
upon initial entrance, maybe not, because it's all just kind of like immediate sensation. But once like you're inside, yeah, you can tell the dulling of the sensation.
Okay.
Unless do they still make ribbed condoms? I don't
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
But those
You can
ones,
get any kind of
maybe you
flavor
might
and
have,
texture you want.
but there's still, one, you can smell
Lambskin.
it. You can always smell it, one.
There's
And
Yeah.
that.
two, for me, I feel like that spermicide that's on condoms, like I can feel that.
Yeah.
And so if I don't feel that, then I know something, you know what I'm saying?
I know the man version of that.
Okay, go ahead.
I can tell when we are in the procreative act of sexual intercourse and say
As
that
opposed to
time of the month or that certain visitor comes in, and I can tell we've switched from synthetic oil to
I mean, that's
bio
like
Keep going.
to bio.
that's
Keep going. Don't
that's
stop.
that's
No.
like
Keep saying
okay.
everything you're saying right now.
Bio oil.
I've run out of creative words to say it. I can tell when it's blood and when it's not.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Well, yeah, it feels noticeably
Because
different.
the
Not like if lights
vaginal
are off and you
lubricant
can't
is
see.
thicker.
Hmm.
Like natural juices are like thicker and a little stickier. Blood is fucking blood, yo.
Blood is
Yeah,
sticky.
it's sticky
But it's different
when it's
sticky.
mixed with
Like
that. But
it's a different sticky.
It's that
But
anyways,
sticky.
but to your point is because I had the same kind of thought
no
about
victim
that.
shaming now.
Of no, it's not victim shaming, but it is allowing people to take ownership and responsibility for their experiences. Because one thing is number one, if he says he's going to put a condom on and you don't look at his dick when he come back and see that it's sheathed, you're already like, what are we doing? Because you
Yeah.
have to take your own health and your own experience into your hands as the receiving party. I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
hmm
leave it at that. I'm a non-gender that, okay?
yeah,
As the receiving party, you have to also be take 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 control in that situation. And even if maybe you were distracted and then he put it in and like just check. Like it don't take none but 30 seconds, if even that, to check, you know.
right.
Hey,
Just grab
you say
hold
you
of it
put that
down there.
on?
Yeah.
Also that, right?
Just say
Also
you need
that,
a
like
different position and you want to feel it and double
something.
check.
I think because I haven't been in that exact experience of like he pretended to put it on. It's more like a took it off in the middle, and I was like, "Oh, what's the difference? What is happening? This is a no. This is a no. Like, why would you do that?" To me, because it's also a violation, like I said. It's like,
It's a
especially
super
if
Yeah, it is a
violation of
violation.
trust.
if we already were
It's a
under the
lie.
agreement that we were going to have protected sex, and you
Right.
decide that you want to take it off for whatever reason, and you don't tell me that, like, that's a huge violation.
Yeah, the consent
So,
is already there, and now you're violating the consent by doing something unconsensual.
right, for whatever reason you felt like you needed to selfishly make this choice. And the thing, like, as a woman, especially now, just in this climate of, whether you are pro choice or pro life or all of that, the reality is that the consequences of
Hmm.
your choice to remove the protection that I thought was there, like, I will always be the one as the woman who has to deal with those consequences in a greater capacity
Right.
than the man. And so it's like it's selfish on selfish on selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Man. Joseph Budden is a piece of shit, and he already knew that, and that's why he said what he said, so other people would go and talk about the shitty things that he says like we're doing right now. I'm not gonna
Mm.
lie, Joe Budden has greatly influenced me in a podcast spectrum. Like, I loved his podcast, and I have stopped listening the
Ump it up. I'm sorry. I
pump,
couldn't
pump,
resist.
pump, pump, pump.
Just
Just
blaze.
blaze.
I I At the moment he got rid of Rory and Maul, for them doing essentially what he was trying to do in his role, I guess I never felt the same about the podcast. Like, I wasn't into Joe Budden's takes on everything. I was into the chemistry of the whole podcast of Joe Budden versus Rory and Maul. Parks is fucking annoying. But Joe has a desire to A, be this media mogul, and B, to be blatantly the most toxic at it. And uh, am I surprised at what he said? No, not at all. Am I surprised that he brought that to his platforms? A little bit, because I think you're making yourself a target. But B, is he getting talked about again? Yep. So good for him. But no, that's just not fucking okay. That's never going to be okay. Again, you've now removed the consensual part out of the consent that we agreed to. And
You know
then,
what, too? What if she's telling you to put a condom on to protect yourself because she got something?
Ooh.
ooh,
What if
Ooh.
and it could be
now that's
it could be very something very small. It could be something very big,
it's like that movie
moderate.
Kids.
You know,
Remember
little
Kids?
clap, little harp, then
AIDS, brother.
all the way up to the
Remember
top to
AIDS?
AIDS.
Yeah.
But you want to, you play stupid games and win stupid prizes. You don't know you don't know what reasoning she has behind it. You should respect it. You don't have to know.
Mm.
It should just be
This,
done with respect.
I think,
Mm.
this is an impossible ask, and it's almost stupid, but like, my challenge to men is, if you are going to go have sex and you are ready to go have sex this evening, that you agree to the circumstances that it's going to have to be under. And that's wrap that shit up, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like, Miss CTG is saying, like, we're in a wildly different era in 2022 now. Like, it might as well be 1937. Because, like,
Might as well, honey.
your ability now to correct a mistake in a very brutal, horrible way has now been taken off the table as well. So, like, God forbid you get something, or B, bring a child into this world that two people don't want to raise, knowing that our foster care system isn't great and adoption doesn't always work out. And, like, I'm not here to speak for Iz's experience, but I don't wish that on anybody. You know what I mean?
Nigga.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't.
it's
Yeah.
easy for me to say, having not gone through it. You know what I mean? But, like,
You right. Speak,
yeah,
nigga. I
like,
don't.
just I don't know. I feel like I'm always coming down on men, but
Nah.
it's out of love, and it's out of brotherly, like, respect, that, like, we've got so much farther to come up to take care of women instead of just taking care of our nut. You know what I mean? Like, we have got to be less selfish than our nut and understand that there will be plenty of nuts to be had if you do the fucking right thing and the common thing and the good thing and just respect people. So, Joe Budden, go off. You're a piece of shit anyway, and you've done nothing but solidify that, and that's what you want to be known for. So, pump it up.
Boom, 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 boom.
Pump it up.
Just
Bree, thank you so
blaze.
much for the topic suggestion.
Word
Thank
up.
you, Bree.
I'm glad that it went a little further than I even thought we were gonna go. So that was great.
So did your song "Pump It Up" at the end of "You Got Served." Just blaze.
He's talking about his Swedish penis pump.
Pump it up, get it, pump it, get it.
I feel so bad for our listeners because we do have like a slight delay between all of our audio feeds. And so when this comes back through, everybody's going to be offbeat and it's going to be glorious. And no, Zencaster will not mix that shit together for you. Joseph Budden, you're also welcome that we gave you some life today here on the Mansers Pod. The people's favorite, the most balanced pod in the land. Before we close out, I want to go back to a classic ending for our episode before I hand it over to Miss CTG here.
Uh-oh.
Guys, what have we learned today?
Oh, not the what have we learned? Okay.
Really quickly, 60 seconds or less. What did you learn today? Miss CTG.
What did I learn today? Oh, God. Always wear a condom.
No.
Ladies.
Make sure that
always wear a condom if it's required. Not always wear a condom.
It's required. Yeah.
It's required. Always wear a
and
condom.
Requested
Right.
And agreed upon. Always
not,
wear a condom.
It's an oral contract. But oh wait,
I got you. That was good.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fucking fantastic.
Celebrity divorces don't matter. And the circle back is not as common amongst the three of us as I thought it was, and I feel disappointed in myself.
Really?
No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna love that, Miss CTG. We're gonna love that. We're gonna love that devil right on out of you.
I'm actually just really shocked that y'all have never. I'm shocked.
There's only new polyamorous relationships coming that way. All right.
That's what I learned.
What did you learn today?
I learned that I can use polyamorous in a sentence. As I have never tossed that word around.
It's only the first time once.
I know that I've known this, but I'm thinking our listeners have learned that everybody is on an individual journey, and that when you decide to come together with somebody, you become part of that journey. And sometimes there's going to be steps forward and steps backwards, steps to the side, but your willingness to take those steps with your partner will get you to the end of that journey.
Wonderful. And I learned that far more people see my point of view on cheese, eggs, Welch's, grape is actually talking about the jelly and not so much grape juice, because nobody drinks that anymore. But in the 90s, grape juice was the shit, because like you gotta think juice choices were not that abundant back in the 90s. In Biggie Small's fucking 90s in fucking Brooklyn.
Hold on. Real quick.
Quarter water. Fucking
what's your juice choice? What's your juice choice now? Now that there's
Apple.
Apple.
Are we talking about straight up juices?
Strawberry lemonade.
Simply blueberry lemonade.
Ooh. Even their apple juice is good. TP.
It's a slant, but Trader Joe's has this really bomb ass pineapple. I want to call it soda. It's just pineapple juice with club soda, and that's a juice. It's an effervescent juice.
Go to the Dominican Republic. They got pineapple juice that'll change your fucking life. Secondly, Nantucket. You know the Nantucket juices? I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
Nantucket red plum juice.
Ooh.
My fucking God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If y'all get a chance, try that Nantucket. Yo, I'm about to reach
Do
out
they
to
even
them for a
carry that
sponsor.
in the South?
Wow.
Yo, red
Yeah,
plum
I'm
juice.
sure it's at some Whole Foods.
Damn, you know what? I got some plums in the kitchen. Anyways,
I bet you do.
Great. Thank you for entertaining me.
Bet you got
Miss
some
CTG, this is your cue. We're going to start the Nappy Roots music and you give them the rundown.
all right. Well, y'all, thank you so much for listening to us today on Manster's Pod. We want to hear from you, motherfucker. Now I wanted to sing the song. Follow us on Instagram at mansterspod. Email us at themansterspod@gmail.com. I am CTG. We got B Todd. We got
Woo! I don't even know if that came
What
through,
the fuck
but
was that?
we'll see you next week!